Boom!
What's going on, people?
What's
How you
going
doing, Brad?
on? What's going on? Dude,
Haven't seen you since Belgium.
indeed. I have sent you stuff, though.
I know. We can fix your list in a bit if you want. I saw it this morning when you sent it to me.
I sent it to you at some point in time. I also sent one of my other chats, but I also sent one of my other chats at 3 in the morning, Despacito. So
Yeah, I think you. Well, let me see. When did you send the list to me?
I think I sent it to you at a normal time.
No.
Probably. I mean, normal for me. How about that?
Oh yeah, no. It was yesterday. It was yesterday at a normal time. I just ignored it.
Yay! Aw, that's hurtful.
No, I was gonna get myself a taste of that, Brad. You know,
A little bit of juice.
a little bit of juice. I was gonna call you up, be like, "Hey, Brad, Eldar," and you were like, "Eldar."
So it's a team
That's
tournament.
what all conversations are like.
I do end up talking in the middle of any conversation. Anybody calls me up, you typically don't get a lot of hellos. You just get me acting like we've already been talking.
So anyway, I cut Baharoth, and Brad, why'd you cut Baharoth? I don't know. It just seemed like the right thing to do. Okay, don't do that. Okay.
Sometimes things happen. We got some lists today. I'm
Yes,
ready.
we do.
I'm ready to rock and or roll. Ooh, we got Necrons today.
So we got a Canthrite Catcher. He has some notes
hit
in
me.
there. Oh, that's a picture of my foot. Let me try again. There we go.
A picture of my foot.
Yes. Well, obviously we don't need that. That's for other people.
You know what, Jack? I think you're doing it wrong.
He says, I will be attending my first GT soon, and I want to tidy up my list. I replaced a Spider, Doomsday Ark, and 2 Heavy Destroyers to add in the Void Dragons and Plasmacytes. I'm not sure if this is a progress or a downgrade. The Heavy Destroyers consistently were disappointments. I will miss the Doomsday Ark and Spider, who like to ride up with my Catacomb Command Barge. Is the Void Dragon worth it, or are there other units who might fit in better?
Good question.
It is a good question.
I typically like double Catan if I'm going to go double Catan at all.
I like single Catan more than zero Catan, and I like double Catan more than single Catan. That's where I'm at.
Okay. I'll give you
More
that.
Catan, the better.
I mean, I'm glad you allows the Heavy Destroyers. I hate them with a passion of 1,000 suns.
Yes, yeah. Hey, Nurgle Matt, what's going on?
What up?
Good old Krons. We haven't actually had Krons on since they've been great, and this guy, oh, Lyle. I will get you did pay money, so I will read it in a second.
Nope, I'm reading it right now.
You know what? I don't even remember what I was in the middle of saying. Lyle Dixon with the $2 super chat saying, I'm for Jack to turn this into a Feet Picks channel.
We would be so much more popular with the Feed Picks channel, by the way.
You haven't seen my, well, what is a casual name for feet, you know? Like,
Toesies?
like casual name for teeth might be chompers. Like, you haven't seen my, like, strutters? I don't know.
Strutters. I have to go look up now.
Actually, you have seen my feet, Brad.
I have. You wander about like this.
I do.
Let's talk about
Anyway,
what we're doing here. You know
We
what?
have put Necrons on since they became the best army in the game.
Since they just
So-
randomly went, hey, even though I'm losing, I'm getting a 45 in secondaries. Deal with it. Footsies.
Yeah. My feetsies.
All right, here's the things that I really like a lot. I mean, the Silent King just does work. I like these 3 units of Scarabs for sure. I love Wraiths and Necrons. There's such a basically just clock in and do work. They make people overcommit because of the 4-up invuln. They can get people back. They can leave combat and charge. They can be just annoying as shit. So I do like the Wraiths in here. 60 points for 18 shots and Tomb Blades is fantastic. I actually like to see 2 of these units.
I mean, you can use them as a shooting unit because you can ignore cover and teleport them around. And like Sisters players, beware. Honestly, it's like the biggest thing you can do against Sisters is just be like, oh, look at my little 60-point unit. It doesn't do anything except score. And then you're like, teleport, ignores cover, +1 to hit, reroll.
Yeah. It's just for the cost. It's such an efficient unit. It's hard for me not to love it. So doing that, love it. Plasmacytes, yes, 15 points for a nonsense unit that just basically gets in the way.
Yeah, you also get the weird combo that is you put the Void Dragon on an objective, right? The Void Dragon, he didn't list what dynasty this was, but if
It's
this isn't if this isn't
it's Eternal Conquerors
and Relentlessly
and
Expansionist,
yeah.
yeah, if it isn't that combination, I'm revoking a Canthrite Catcher's right to be in our Discord. I'm sorry. I know that's not a thing I can do, but I'm doing it. But you can retroactively make it that list, so you're fine. So you have the Void Dragon on the objective, right? Not OBSEC, your opponent can just contest it away. Then you have the Plasma Site right behind it, which can't be targeted unless it's the closest. Sounds good. The Plasma Site is objective secured, so now the objective has objective secured on it. Well, the Plasma Site will die if it's not within 3 inches, or I think it's 3, of a destroyer unit. Okay, so now behind a wall, you have the unit of Scorpec destroyers. And now in shooting, they can do 3 wounds to the Void Dragon, and then that is their ability to deal with that objective at all.
Yeah, I love
So
that. It's just it's nonsense. You can just screen stuff out. You can take objectives with it. It's very, very good. So
yeah,
love that a lot.
I also forget the timing on when it dies, because I think it might be like in an advantageous time, but I forget. It might be in the morale phase, which is not advantageous.
Let's look at
But
this.
hey, welcome, Plark. Welcome to Art of War. Welcome to our channel.
Hello, 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 hello.
So Necrons, right? You have a bunch of Lich Guard in here, which aren't strictly speaking like bad. I don't think they're bad, right? They're objective secured and they're like annoying to get rid of. And if your 5-up reanimations are on point, oh my god. If they're not, then
I don't
it's
think
terrible.
this is trying to do that though. Like Marshall Peterson's been running, excuse me, 2 units of 10 Lich Guard. I like going in on them if you're going to go in on them, but I'd rather have some just more fast stuff and/or the other Catan, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's where I was going. I think your list would be better with just a Transcendent Catan instead of those Lich Guard. I mean, you have to put in the other detachment and switch some other stuff around and
Oh,
whatnot.
we just put destroyers in each one.
Yeah.
Literally, the destroyers slide over, and then the other Catan goes in.
Yeah, that's what I would do. You even get some points back because a Transcendent Catan is like insanely cheap for no reason. And then your game plan is, are you trying to hide over there and not be shot, not be seen, not be charged, and you're just trying to score your points? Well, Sky of Falling Stars, Sky of Falling Stars, Sky of Falling Stars. One of them starts with Sky of Falling Stars, and the other one pays 1 CP to switch into it on the first turn, and then double Sky of Falling Stars every single turn until your opponent cries.
It gives you great auto wins against certain armies. Sisters, basically any of the 1 wound armies just can't take 5 turns of double Sky of Falling Stars. So I do love that quite a bit. So I do like this list though. I mean, we're changing very little if we do that. We basically take the Lich Guard out and get ourselves a Transcendent and possibly another unit of Tomb Blades at that point in time, because we save 70 points, so we could just get ourselves in the second unit of Tomb Blades, which I think would be fantastic. It's 1 more unit that can steal objectives. It's a bunch of shots to kill nonsense.
I just want to give them options here, because a lot of the things they're running, I think their list is totally fine.
Yeah, this is the list is fine. Yeah. Just if I was gonna do, I would do either one of 2 things with this list. I either get the second Catan in, we put the second Catan, and we get a second unit of Tomb Blades, or we just go full a billion guys and we go no Catan and we just load up the board even more.
Yeah, that's I actually like the Void Dragon in this meta.
It's huge because there's so many vehicles.
There's so many vehicles. Like you run into Knights and the Void Dragon just starts salivating. And also single Catan is still perfectly viable. 1 Sky of Falling Stars isn't going to like make your opponent cry, and that is the point, to be clear. But it is going to make your opponent have a rough day.
Yeah, but double, if you're going to do it, I just think the double, because the double ends matches. It just makes it so that you just win. And the thing is when you're going into tournaments, give yourself some freebies, basically. You know what I mean? Give yourself some matches that would be harder otherwise. Just make them automatic wins almost. You know what I mean? And with that, you just do that. And he also gives us another fast unit. I mean, you literally swap out Lich Guard for that Transcendent. We get a couple points back. We'd have to find some points we want that second Tomb Blade. Or we could just go double. We could just go double. It's also the rule of cool. So I'd like to just see us go double transcendent, but the shard of the Void Dragon looks awesome. So
I'm actually a huge fan of the Void Dragon.
Yeah,
not even just the model, which you would have to be blind to not be a fan of, but of the rules. I actually think it's a great meta call right now.
Yeah. Well, we only saved 20 points at that point in time. So.
It is like, what is it, like 70 points more, 60 points more, something like that? I think the Transcendent
he's 70. It's 230 for the Transcendent and 300 for the... I have no problem with the Shard of the Void Dragon. I was just looking to get that second unit of Tomb Blades in there so he could get just a little bit more stuff.
I do like that. Honestly, the thing I'm looking at cutting are the Wraiths. I know you like them, but I think Wraiths are one of those like overwhelming kind of units where like if you take 3 units, then all of a sudden like, do you have enough to deal with all of this? No. If you take 1 unit, the answer is like, do you have enough to deal with all of it? And it's like, yes, I do.
Man, I could give that on that because I'd like to see double Wraiths. I could see that. But the thing is...
Double O raises a good point here. Why would you not want Ophidian Destroyers, whatever the shooty ones are? I do really like Ophidians.
The only problem with Ophidians is they have a 4-up saves. They just disintegrate.
Yes, they are fire and forget. Like, you just use them. I think you just take, like, 3-man squads. Their objective's secured. They punch way harder than you would think they would. I think they're only I think they're 35 points apiece, and they just hit ungodly
They're
hard.
all the exact same on that. Basically all of them. The race, all are.
They have the Ophidians hit significantly harder. Scorpex hit harder than Wraiths to a significant degree, and then Ophidians hit a little harder than
I was saying
Scorpex.
The cost. The cost is the same.
Oh, the cost is the same? Yeah, the cost is the same.
Same cost is the same for all 3 of them.
I mean, if you drop like one of the Scorpex, or you have 2 5-mans instead, and then you drop the Wraiths, you basically have the points for 2 squads of Ophidians, and I do like that.
I don't mind that at all. I would love to see us work out these points then to get a second Tomb Blade and then some more guys, period.
Yeah. Paul Jan asks, what model do people use for the Transcendent? I don't believe that people shell out for the Obelisk kit. First off, there are plenty of people who just have money and they need a place to spend it. Second off, Obelisk looks good, so I guess people want it. Third off, yeah, nobody does that. So
yeah, I've seen so many different models though. Yeah. Like there's a bunch of AOS stuff that can be used. There's a lot of third-party stuff. There's so many cool. I mean, I've seen a lot of 3D printed Catan. There's a lot of different models and sculpts. Yeah. So
I actually, when I was moving to Florida, I'm like, I'm going to become a Necron player, and that did not happen. They were terrible. But I did make before I came, I just wanted a hobby project. So I converted a Catan out of, and you can have this idea free of charge, out of that. Oh shoot! Now I don't exist. The AOS model Lady Alinder. So I swapped in like a Necron symbol for her staff, the top of her staff, and I put scarabs crawling around her base and like flying around her and whatnot. And she looks like a dope Catan. So if you want to make a Catan, that is what I would go with.
All right, I'm done with this list.
Yeah, I mean, in summary, I think the list as constructed is perfectly viable. I would probably lose either the Lich Guard or the Wraiths in order to get more stuff in there. And I personally like the double Catan variant. So like my personal change wouldn't be that much. I think the list is very good. It would be cut the Lich Guard, cut like one of the Scorpex probably, which gets you, I think, a total of 50 points if you include a Transcendent. Cut the Wraiths, put in some, and then put in some Ophidians. And that's literally where I would just go with the list.
I like the double Catan. We're going with that.
I like double Catan.
We agree.
Again, the trick is one of them starts with Sky of Falling Stars. The other one switches into it turn 1, and you rain mortals out of line of sight on your opponent.
Fiery death. The tears of Allah will rain down upon you.
Yeah. Brad has experienced double Sky of Falling Stars. He did not like it.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, it was a bad time for the Brad.
It's nothing like taking 50 mortal wounds by turn 3.
Yeah, out of line of sight. It's like turn 1 of double Sky of Falling Stars is fine. Turn 2 of Sky of Falling Stars, you're like, oh, this is not going great. Turn 3 of Sky of Falling Stars, you're tabled.
You're just like, this is stupid.
Double Sky of Falling Stars.
You also get the
single Sky of Falling Stars, workable. Double Sky of Falling Stars by turn 3, you're dead.
Did you sneak White Scars with all these Hellblasters in here? I need to read this off.
Just for you, buddy. Just for you.
Corso, come on! Primash Chaplain on bike. 2 units of 5 Assault Intercessors, 1 unit of Incursors, 10 Vanguard Vets with 5 hammers. Claws and shields.
No. Three claws and hammers.
Ah, sorry.
5 claws and chainswords. I know, reading is hard.
Yeah, you put this up here in a perfect way. I thought it just said jump packs, then got it. Screw you. 5 Vanguard Vets.
Yeah. Pardon me for putting words on a page for you to read.
It's not
I should
right.
have known that was a
it
mistake.
Should say the number and the
though.
thing. The number and then the thing. That is standard English, Jack. Okay. 10-5-5 Vanguard Vets. 10-5 Hellblasters. A Devastator, Multi-Melta, Grav Cannon. And then we have the Rhino that those go in. And an Impulsor. We're getting rid of the Impulsor immediately. And we're moving on with our life.
Are we? Are we, though?
Just because Sean managed to shoehorn in an Impulsor, it still doesn't have fly, and it still costs a lot.
Yeah, but it fires like 20 shots. So Miles does have notes. Dev's in the Rhino for combo.
Yep.
For the combo of move like 40 inches and then shoot your opponent with everything. 5 Hellblasters and Con in Impulsor. And secondary plan is Lightning Assault, Shock Tactics, and then Banner or Oaths. Personally, I kind of want double devs in a Rhino if you're doing that combo.
I just don't think we need the Impulsor.
Look at that. You have a 5-man Hellblaster unit that you can turn into the second dev squad. Huh. How weird is that? Boom, perfect combo.
Weirdly enough, if you do that, then we don't need this Impulsor.
No, because you have to have Con and Impulsor. That is a cornerstone of the list.
The cornerstone of the list is Con and the Impulsor.
Yes.
I feel like that's not a cornerstone. Is he say that that's a cornerstone? Because that's the only way this is becoming a cornerstone. We do need Plume of the Planesrunner 00. I agree.
I do agree. We need Plume of the Planesrunner. This is a very interesting list. I know Miles has run a lot of White Scars in the past. He's probably one of the last diehards on it. Now he's one of the last diehards on Grey Knights. But this seems like a little more of a shooting variant. I personally don't have a lot of faith in Hellblasters to carry a list shooting-wise. They are very expensive. And then when they die, you feel it because, again, they're very expensive.
You spend a ton of points. I mean, that's 330 points is a ton. The thing is that this list isn't, I feel like White Scars aren't like a super hardcore shooting army. I feel like they have some shooting elements that go with their really good hand-to-hand. But I just don't want to go all in on shooting.
They are pretty fast.
They're super fast, don't get me wrong, but they're super fast and they leave combat so they can go punch stuff. They get +1 damage when they're in the assault doctrine.
Well,
I mean,
if you listen to John, the way they function is they charge you with their shooting units, so you can't shoot them back, and then they just fall back and shoot you.
Okay, we can't do that with everyone. So,
but do you need to do that with everyone?
I mean, they don't fall back and shoot automatically. They fall back and charge.
Let's put it this way, Brad. What if we replace these 10 Hellblasters with a bunch of a bunch of the Inceptors with plasma guns?
That would make me happier.
Would it?
Because I own like so many Inceptors, that's why.
That's true. You are trying a pump and dump scheme on Inceptors.
You should definitely take these. And you know who's got these, my friend, is this guy.
Oh, that's so weird. Inceptor stonks at an all-time high.
Stonks, baby.
Stonks. Yeah, I am memeing. They are overpriced plasma units, unfortunately. And you can totally outplay your opponent with really close range shooting units that are hideously expensive and not that durable. Like, if you can outplay people, oh, baby, close range shooting units that are really fast, you can really outplay people with them. But if your opponent is able to find a line and nail down the unit and kill it, you're out a lot of points.
Can I just get, like, multiple Hell variants for this instead?
Brad, don't be boring.
but it's good.
Don't be boring. Okay, this is about content.
Yeah, but I could just take them and they could shoot the entire length of the field while I'm moving up with everything else.
That is a good point. God, are 10 Hellblasters more expensive than 2 Hellverns?
Yeah.
Oh, that hurts.
And I could just sit in the back. I also have access to the stupid strat for auto wounding on 6s for both of them for 1 CP.
Brad, I think for the points cost of 3 Hellverns, you could get that by just dropping the 10 Hellblasters, the Impulsor, and like 10 points.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. We could put like long range damage 3 firepower in our backfield and then just take the board.
I hear what you're saying. Okay, all right. So the boring version of this list involves 0 Hellblasters, and I can't believe I'm even saying
I
that.
love that you threw that on me real quick. You're like, the boring, like, all Brad's fault, this guy,
Honestly,
guy.
get rid of him. I'm going to start a petition. Make lists interesting again. But 0 Hellblasters because they're the main problem with Hellblasters is that they are very expensive and they operate at a range band and their durability threshold where they just die in response. So unless you're picking up 330 plus points worth of stuff, you're probably not going to get value out of them because they just go in, scoop something, and then die. A lot of the time against good players. As I said, against bad players, you can outplay them, keep them alive multiple turns, keep them firing, and table your opponent with them. But
they just
not in real
it
life.
feels like they get 1 activation and then they're done.
Exactly. For things that get 1 activation and then they're done, I don't always agree with that they have to earn their points back because I think that's a very reductive way of looking at it. I used a big boy word, so now I'm smart. But in the abstract, these things do not pull their weight in a game in a single shooting phase. And they need to because they die immediately.
Uh-oh. Lyle's got a super chat. How are we over 29 minutes in and we haven't heard Brad scream about beef or trash yet? I specifically was trying to hold it back. Talk about needing more beef and or needing more trash.
It was fun talking about that you were the beef master on stream. Like there was a stream game where people just kept bringing up that you were the beef master. And I was like, oh yeah, Brad is the beef master. And whoever I was playing was just like, what is happening right now? Because I refused to elaborate. Like, of course not. None of that. You got to be in Fix My List or you don't get our memes.
Double O's talking trash about us from Poland. I was talking to Typhus yesterday. I told him I'm still scarred. He told me that he has nightmares about the Aussies, though.
Okay. And the Aussies escaped with their lives by like
barely
the hair of their chinny chin against us.
Indeed.
Say it. Yeah, no, Poland was, it was John that I was playing against. Yeah, he's the perfect mark for that. Like, just like talking about beef. By the way, he's playing a game in this afternoon against Nick. Dude, you can just spam out no explanations. I want to hear 0 explanations, but you can spam out the beef that Brad's the beef master.
Beef, dude. I do want to talk about John real quick. At WTC on Sunday night, I felt like I might have seen an illusion, but I saw one John Lennon at a bar at 1 a.m.
Yes, he was being very social. He was not drinking.
No.
Well, he was drinking. He was just drinking water. But he was being social out late.
I was like, who is this person?
I mean, I guess we're going to have to go to WTC again just to see it.
It's never happened before.
I know. Apparently, you just have to take him out of the U.S. in order to make him be social. But yeah, it was incredible.
All of the things.
If I hadn't played Jack on Thursday, then Brandon never. Oh, Double O. Are you Stefan?
Yes.
Oh, Double O is Stefan Pezderka. I'm sure I mispronounced that. I am sorry. Oh, cool. Hey, bud. Yeah, that was very helpful because I came in being like, I'm going to table everyone. And then I didn't table you and you beat me. And I was like, Interesting. And then I tabled
Interesting.
everyone.
And then I tabled everyone.
Then I tabled everyone. But like I needed that, probably.
I did have multiple
Probably.
people go, do they always just throw you into the dumpster? And I go, not always.
Is this? I mean, we got time. This can just become a WTC. All right, let's finish Miles' list, and then we can just talk WTC for a bit, and then we'll get to the last one.
Can do.
All right, so Miles, I like what you're going for. I like your units. There's one unit I don't like, and that would be the Hellblasters. I want that 5-man unit of Hellblasters to become another Devastator squad, so it goes in the Rhino. Both units can go and start spanking.
If you want to shoot, put Knights in here. Otherwise, give me more hand-to-hand because it's White Scars, and I want to see some punching.
All right, well, Brad is being very boring. He doesn't understand the wild ways of trying things new and out of the box. But yes, I agree. 10 Hellblasters and the Impulsor probably wants to become
I will punch you through the computer.
With Hunters of Beasts. Yeah.
You just went, I'm not the one trying weird shit. Get out of here.
That's probably where I would go if you want to be one of the borings. Otherwise, you could probably go with some Storm Speeder Thunderstrikes would probably be a better place to get damage from than Hellblasters.
Feels like a different army, though.
It is a different army. It's a good army.
It's a good army.
Yeah, I think if you want to get shooting from Space Marines, your options are very limited. You can go with the Storm Speeder Thunderstrike. You probably have the command points to include a Contemptor Dreadnought as well and get some shooting out of that. Because I'm pretty sure you're spending like almost nothing. You have double Warlord trait and a relic, so you have 3. Yeah, I think you can spend 1 to include a Contemptor and just shoot with it.
Why don't we just get Knights at this point in time?
Because maybe some people don't want to do that.
It's
if
so
you
much
want
better.
to include Knights, find 465 points, 3 Hunters of Beast Helverins, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But if you don't want to include Knights, those are the probably places you're going to have to get your shooting from.
You know what? We'll agree to disagree that you're wrong.
Brad, are you a New York Yankees fan?
No, I'm a Dodger fan.
Right.
All
okay.
West Coast.
So why don't you just become a New York Yankees fan? I mean, they win everything.
And just front runner everything?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind that.
Of course you don't mind that. That's what I've been hearing this whole time. All right. Thank you, Miles, for your White Scars list. All right. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, WTC was fun as heck.
It was. And then I become sad, and I talked to the Polish about that. I was like, hey, I'd just like to misplay a game terribly and then have the dice destroy me.
Yeah. My game against Poland, we don't talk about that game. It did not go well.
I may or may not have done what I tell everybody not to do, which is focus on a defeat and only stare at that for days.
Did you go hardcore in the down the rabbit hole of like how could I not get 20-0'd by Harlequins?
Yeah, because I played that match about 1 billion times and I was very confident going into it. And then I put it on TTS and reworked it about 100 times because that's healthy.
Is it? So, you played a game you're never going to play again, which is Harlequins on WTC terrain, and you're like, you know what I need to do?
Set this up for hours and hours and hours and figure it out. I was very sad about that game. But we had a great tournament, though. Like, for instance, I was really happy with the team. I was happy with most of my performances on that. I took bad matchups. I took decent matchups and continually got points and made sure I did what I was supposed to do. So, going out. Yeah. So, I was happy with that. You smashed. So, we made some lineup choices as far as who should be on what. Probably pour on that. And the thing is that while it sucks anytime to not win, I feel like we learned so much more from a loss than we would have if we would have just won out of the gate.
I do feel a lot more confident in our chances next year, how we're going to do. I feel like we came so close to second, so close to first. Like we were 5 points away from first, right? Because if we got 2 more points against Australia and 3 more points against Germany, we're in first place.
Yep.
So, but that's how the cookie crumbles, and I think we learned a lot of valuable stuff.
Yeah, and I was happy with I wasn't happy with the pulling round, of course. Rich Hughes is trying to give us some shit here, but I was perfectly happy. I thought the Germans were an amazingly fun round with really, really good. We had literally super high level play and very, very relaxed round. I had a great time playing my guy. So
I had a lot of fun in my game too. I skillfully. Yeah, basically, I just completely outplayed him. Here's what I did. I went first.
I was just about to say, you killed 80% of his army. You were next to me.
Yeah. No, I didn't even roll the die for first turn. I handed it to Mitch Beard, who was behind me. He tied my opponent. And then the Ireland guy he was playing was like, get out of here, Mitch, you're useless. Here you go. And he rolled it and got a 5, and that gave me first turn skillfully. And then I just face rolled him because it's Tau on Tau, and like you don't need a brain cell for that.
I played Sisters and decided that I was going to take Warp Ritual. I'm like, I got five chances. I should be fine. And then he denied me 5 turns in a row. And I could have just taken Hidden Path instead. So
powerful.
Yeah, I still won by 4. So things happen.
Yep. Hey, everybody. John Chaves. I thought this was Art of War Reviews list on Art of War whinges about the past. Por que no los dos? It can be both. Also, it will be both.
Thank you very much. Also, we look back at the past. We're also whining and crying and being sad, not just whinging.
I mean, Belgium was beautiful, first off. It was great. It was great seeing people that I had, only seen once or twice before, because then they go back to Europe and I don't know what they do over there, but I don't see them here. Like Stefan, I played like 3 years ago at LVO. Again, skillfully and powerfully went first in the Eldar mirror, and then hit him really, really hard with my Seer Council. And, as I said, skillfully going intricately first. Used my brain to the fullest extent, so I won the roll off for first turn, and then I crippled him on turn 1. And then I didn't see him until like LVO, and I was like, oh, hey, how's it going? And then, see him at WTC. It's like, oh, that's cool. That's fun. A lot of our people overseas I've never seen. Like, I've never seen Matt Marsoli before in person. That was cool.
You didn't realize that he was 11 feet tall.
I did not realize. I thought he was normal person size. He is, in fact,
he's a giant.
A giant.
He is a hill giant. He lives in the mountains somewhere.
I'd never seen anyone on the Australian team. I had no idea what Liam Hackett looked like. Eric Luthuris, same deal. Honestly, it's like they just swapped stats. Eric Luthuris and Matt Morrisoli.
Yeah, I like that. I threw my. See, this is the thing when you throw your mistake out, everybody gets to jump on it. So Warp Ritual probably wasn't my best choice ever when I could have got a 15 easily on Hidden Path. However, I felt it was a style choice, a bad style choice.
Yeah, Stefan, the roll for first turn wasn't that important as when we rolled which deployment zone we roll for. Fair enough. All I remember is, as I said, tactically won the roll off that I needed to roll in a Siegs-like fashion, and then proceeded to win the game off of that.
Always good.
Always great. You love to see it. I mean, Siegs is called the GOAT, and he wins every pregame roll-off. So,
every time.
Who's to say? He wins every single one. It's wild.
Nice to be a member again.
Kidding. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good to have you. But yeah, Brad, what are you thinking? Taking Psychic Interrogation against, taking Warp Ritual against Sisters? Get out of here.
Denying me on 6s? Why not?
Why not? I did walk over for the last one of those. Like, you leaned over, and he just rolls the 6, and you're like, yep. And
just moved on with life, baby. I just moved on with life. I was like, yeah. The funny thing is I was winning this game, but I'm like, this would have been a lot easier if I didn't just get denied every time. But, some things happen. Some things happen. Let's talk about this Twisted Helix Battalion.
Yep, let me get out my Genestealer Cult rulebook because I do not know them as well, but it has been a while since I don't think we've ever had a Genestealer Cult list on. Maybe we have sometime in the past.
But it's been a while.
Real heads would know. But
let's get into here. We've got an Acolyte Icon Ward. We've got a Magus. We got a Patriarch. We've got a Biophagus, Kellamorph, Jesse James. Pew, 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 pew. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 men units of Acolytes with 2 Hand Flamers, and heavy rock saws. We've got 20 neophytes lying in wait to get jump on top of you, 10 neophyte hybrids, 10 aberrants with a Trappist Sprung, enhanced resilience, 5 aberrants, our time is nigh, 3 units of 10 pure strain Genestealers, 1 they came from below for that pre-game move. Well, it's actually not a pre-game move because you can't stop it because it's actually on the first turn. We got a Nexus, and we have 2 units of 4 Atlan Jackals with demo charges.
Yeah, it's very fun that that pregame move is the only one that works on abandoned sanctuaries. Yes, very good. Like that. You can't pregame move to stop it, but I can pregame move to hit you.
Yep.
Awesome.
Exactly. You can't pregame it. It's super annoying. The thing is on this, we're pretty heavy into aberrants and Genestealers and stuff. I'd like to see more. Everybody, I'd like to see more trash. It is GSC. I think their strength is just being able to go everywhere. I love Jackals. Obviously, I'm still. Eric and I had a great game with those. He was bringing them back. You know what's bad, Jack? If you kill 2 different units of Jackals down to 1, and then they regen double wolf quad every single turn, it'll annoy you after a while.
You replay that game too, or what?
No, that game was effectively within 5 points of just being a draw on that. So
yeah, well, apparently Eric, according to Tech Priest Dicky, apparently Eric body slammed you at WTC.
He definitely did not body slam me. Not even close. You can ask Eric on that. He body slammed everyone else. However, he was also really worried on that. We were giving points updates with it, and I go, I made a mistake in round 1, and Nick is like, because I made a positioning error, so I didn't pick up the entire unit of bikes, and I said that's probably going to cost me. I think I'm going to get a small loss on this, and Eric kept looking at me going, I don't think that at all. I'm like, I'm pretty good at determining points though. So we fought it out.
Pretty bad at determining what their rules are, though.
I know. What are you talking about? What you talking about, Willis? I know the rules well.
Nah, if you knew Genestealer Cult rules, you would win 11-9 every time. That's how this works with your Brad.
I did. I decided to position poorly and then lose some points on that. So I lost basically a point instead of going me 11-9. I flipped it the other way. So yeah, I made one, but he's really good though too. But I made one.
That is what I've heard, yeah.
I made one error. I basically literally left him with a bike, and then he just regen them back like a madman. So it was whoopsie.
So Ronnie's list here looks very different to what Eric is going for, which is fine. You can have different lists.
100%. It's just that it's the strength of the. I don't think you're going to out data sheet people with GSC. I like to lean in towards the board control, the tricks, the speed, and everything else.
Yeah. So, I mean, looking at this, right, this is in like the combat sort of coming out of reserves, hitting people, setting up charges and doing combat, which is fine. I think Lathuris's list is very hard to pilot. Like, I would recommend that list to
it's super
one person, and that would be Eric Lathuris.
Yeah, it's crazily hard, but I don't want to take too much of the combat away, but I would like to have more tricks in here. I've played a decent amount with GSC, and the aberrants always just let me down. It's just they're not fast enough. They don't have enough volume of attacks for me, and I would rather have a couple other things to come down. I'd like to see one of these units just have a zillion hand flamers and lying in wait, so I could get right up on top of people's backfields and just drop 100 flamers on you to really murder your backfield. So I'd love to see that in here. I would like to see just more Jackal. I really just like Jackals. I think they have a great ability. Even if you're not using them for damage and whatnot, you can use them for move blocking, stealing objectives, really ruining your opponent's first couple turns. Move blocking's, for some reason, it's unbelievably underrated. You can just win games by just keeping your opponent in their deployment zone and or just off the objectives. So I really want more of that. And I don't know if I want this many characters also. We've got 6.
Yeah, I'm not as worried about giving up Assassinate, which is what people are usually worried about. Because if your opponent picks Assassinate, the onus is on them to do anything in the game, and that's a very strong position for you. but I don't like it just because it's a lot of points and stuff that isn't units. And like if you put too much points in support, then that causes problems because you don't have enough stuff. Now, to be fair, that's like Space Marine characters where they cost 150 points apiece, and these are 55 points, 50 points, 80 points. So like I can get away with that. The Patriarch definitely should be more than 80 points, but oops.
He's definitely not 80 points.
He's definitely not 80 points. That is a fact. I think he's 150. But
I don't want, to tell you the truth, I kind of don't want the Patriarch or the Aberrants, to be perfectly honest. I'd just like to see more trash. I'd like to see more trash, and I'd like to see a huge unit of hand flamers come in. That is so terrifying if you've got that hand flamer unit and you basically set it up so it can either go 3 or 6, depending on what you want there. But that thing puts out so many wounds and so many people, especially when you're talking about bringing him in on turn 3 and stuff like that. It's horrific to get that to make sure you're screening out for that.
Yeah.
Especially at 3 inches.
You might be saying that as like an Eldar player where you're like, ooh, hand flamers, I'm terrified. But I mean, with exposed and crossfire and whatnot, I mean, not crossfire, but exposed, like they're +1 to wound and
right. I'm just saying,
scary.
The thing is that it's so hard. You can mess with your opponent. One of the biggest things at GSC is that you're constantly harassing your opponent with where they have to screen. I can come in within 3. You've got people that can come in within 3. You got people that can come in within 6, 8, and 9. You know what I mean? So it's not just regular screening where you just put that one unit and you're like, okay, I've blocked out my 9. No, I might come in within 3, and all of a sudden I might steal that objective later. You know what I mean? So it makes it so your opponent has to consistently take their resources and bring them places they don't want to be. So
yeah, my main concern here, first off, I agree. The Aberrants are not going to pull their weight, and I want to see more Jackals. I agree with Stefan also. I want to see some Rock Grinders and stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%.
I agree the amount of characters is okay because characters are fine in GSC. They're very cheap. But I do want some transports. Rock Grinders are phenomenal. They shoot, they punch, they move, you can put units in them. Like, they're very good. I want to see some of those. And I also, the biggest thing I would say here that is just fixable from my mind is I think you want to specialize the Acolytes. I think you want dedicated units that hit, and I think you want dedicated units that score.
Yeah,
so we don't think you want them 50-50.
Right. We don't need the extra stuff on them. I want a couple units that are completely trash. I mean, I want them with absolutely nothing on them. We just want to steal objectives with them.
Yep.
So I want that for sure. Like I said, I'd like to see, if we're going to do a unit that has heavy rock saws, I'd like to see a bigger unit have just a lot of rock saws and slam in. I'd like to see a big unit of hand flamers, and I'd like to see more Jackals and I'd like to see 2 transports in here. I like that a lot.
Yeah, so I think you can cut the Aberrants and the Biophagus, because the Biophagus is really there for the Aberrants.
Yep.
So you can cut the Aberrants and the Biophagus. You can even keep the load of Pure Strains you have. And I just want to see, like, some of those Acolytes, like 2 of those Acolyte squads remove every upgrade from. And then the other 2 beef up and give them all the combat. And that way you have units to take objectives and you have units to hit.
Well, it gets us over 550 points here to play with.
Yeah. So a bunch of Jackals. I would take those 550 points and I would divide them by Rock Grinders, Jackals, and making honestly, I think with 3 Pure Strain Genestealer squads, you're fine on combat. I don't think you need.
Let's get a
Acolyte hybrids.
I really would like to see a Flamer unit come in.
Yeah. I think a Flamer unit is good, but I think in terms of combat, I think you're fine with 3 Pure Strains.
Probably.
And you can keep the Patriarch if you feel like it. Honestly.
He does bang. I mean, the dude's tough.
He does, in fact, bang, especially at the listed 80 points. Whoopsie-daisy. That's 150, I believe.
Yeah. He's a bargain.
He's a bargain. So that's what I would do. I would strip a lot of the combat off the Acolyte hybrids. I would turn 1 unit into Flamers. I agree with Brad on that. I would add a bunch of Jackals in. And I would remove the Aberrants and the Biophagus. And that's basically where I'd leave the list. Like, if you can get 30 Jackals in the list, a la, Eric Luthurus, that's pretty solid.
I mean, they're super annoying, especially with the ward bringing people back. You put the wolf quads in them, you can get 10 wounds back a turn. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that is That's a very strong thing. And then you're not all in combat, which might mean you go custom cult, possibly, although the pure strains do get a lot better from Twisted Helix. Like, they really like those buffs.
For what he's doing, if he's doing 30 pure stains, I love the Twisted Helix. +1 strength, +1 move is never bad. I would just the aberrants just are meh for me. So like I said, those are gone, and the biophage is gone. We can just get so much stuff. You have literally 550 points of trash. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, some of the scariest things for me for like to play against Genestealer Cult are just 5-man Acolyte hybrid units with nothing on them that are just like, hey, I'm OBSEC on your objective, and you're going to score 0 primary over and over and over and over. Not even that I'm going to get like face rolled by GSC, just like I'm going to score nothing. So 3 to 4 units of Acolyte hybrids with just absolutely no upgrades on them at all. Very strong. If you take like 3 units with nothing, or you take 4 units with nothing, maybe 3 units with nothing, 3 units with nothing, a big hand flamer unit, and then like 2 bricks of neophytes with shooty shoots.
Yeah.
That could be pretty good.
I mean, the thing is that it depends on whether we take, because if you take custom, you can ignore all modifiers, and then you can take the industrial weapons, but that's kind of a different army, I feel. So,
that is a very different army, yeah.
So
I do like the jackals with, I do like big jackal units. It's hard to get rid of, and then you can resurrect models, and it's
super annoying.
Super annoying, as Brett found out.
Yeah.
When Eric body slammed him.
I did not get body slammed. You know what? He's another tiny lad like myself, except for I will definitely body slam. Uh-oh. Got a super chat. Feed Lewis 2. Where would you start auto-include in an Emperor's Children army? Outside of mandatory termies, 5-man Blastbuster Fist combo? Thanks. That's a tough question because you want to get into what's good with Emperor's Children, but man, it's tough not to take the things that are really, really, the universe just blew up.
That's not good.
No, so many things exploded on my screens.
What happened?
Okay, I'm back. We're trying to figure out Emperor's Children.
Are you okay there, guy?
Oh! Okay, where was I before the universe exploded on my screen? So, things happened. Things went down. Do I have a jack? There we go.
Yes.
I just want to make sure I had a jack that was current, not just sitting there and making a pose. All right.
But looking at Emperor's Children, where would I start with that? I actually don't think the unit of Terminators is as mandatory in CSM as people think it is. I think a Black Rune unit wants to be in the list, but does not have to be Terminators. Terminators are very expensive. You can consider it just being like a big unit of Chosen with the Black Rune and just save like almost 100 points, which is pretty good. I like saving 100 points. You can also just include a big unit of Noise Marines with the Black Rune of Damnation. But if you do want to take the Terminators, and they do look dope, and you take the 5-man Blastmaster Fist combos a bunch of times,
They're
I would
so
probably include a
expensive,
bunch of
So
combat.
expensive.
They are expensive. I think they're like, what,
45.
for 5 guys with Blastmaster Fist?
If you do, with 145, you put the Sonic Blasters on it. If you do Blastmaster Fist,
you don't do that.
It's 20 points less. It's still expensive. You're looking at $125, guys.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't hate them. It's just, man, I like my trash, and I can't bring enough trash if I'm paying premium prices on this. Plus, the thing is you could bring a punchy Emperor's Children army, because they have, Fights First and Honor the Prince still exists. You know what I mean? It's still just good. You can just punch people. Any of those hand-to-hand units gets 26 attacks. You know what I mean? 5 guys.
Yep. You can deep strike the Terminator brick, which is interesting because you just deep strike in Honor the Prince. It's a 3-up rerollable because you rolled the 1 die and you need a 9. It's a 3-up rerollable to charge in. It's fairly reliable. I mean, they'll probably fail you once a tournament, and if you're okay with that, then you're good. But that gives you a little more mobility than just, I'm going to trudge across the board. I mean, if you are auto-advancing the unit 6 with Honor the Prince, and then you're charging with Honor the Prince, the unit does get pretty quick. And so that is nice. maybe you can build around that, which it sounds like you already are. Okay. In terms of auto includes, I don't.
Mop.
Yeah, well, yes, Master of Possessions. I like a Master of Executions as well in the elite slot.
Guy's so good for his price, man.
Yep.
He smacks. And are you looking for efficiency on that? For me, I'm looking for things. I like to put in the autos first and then build my army. You know what I mean? Put in the things that you're always going to use and then start screwing around. So you
Dank Apostle, pretty decent because you can make units advance and charge.
You can also put one of the best buffs in the game on him. Nice.
Yeah, the Illusory Supplication.
Illusory Supplication.
Yes. There's no way you knew the name of that.
I did. Because I like saying
we'll never know now.
Illusory Supplication.
So
I'm classy.
I know. You drink like this. You drink your bottle of wine with your pinky out.
That's how you know I'm classy.
You're just like, "Rah." But that's where I would start with buffing characters, honestly. I mean, you can take a Demon Prince for like Warp Ritual, which is pretty good, and then Demon Prince is just a good character. You can take Lucius, because he is just
Lucius is kind of a bomb.
Great.
Is kind of the bomb.
If you include, I mean, you can take Noise Marines as troops, which is great, and they get your benefits. So you can take just like 3 units of Noise Marines, and then you probably want to be a shooting army, like warp timing things around and shooting. So you can include some chain cannons, which I think are decent.
Uh-oh. Giant. A big block of yellow came in. Danny Alley, $10. Do you all find it odd that factions like Dark Angels, Blood Angels, Black Templars can work together with all their detachments? Factions like Grey Knights, Death Guard, and Thousand Sons are locked to one brotherhood. Would removing that lock break them? Well, they're from different books is the big deal, because one's from one base book. So I feel that the rules are a little bit focused on that, in the fact that they can be mixed together. And the Death Guard, Thousand Sons, and Grey Knights are all their own individual books.
I don't think they're based around working together, honestly, because if you do, you lose your super doctrine.
True.
And for a lot of armies, that's completely untenable. Like Blood Angels will never soup in because you lose basically +1 attack on everybody. You're never ever doing that. So Space Wolves, same deal. You lose exploding sixes.
Double exploding. Thank you very much. We're all gonna be successor chapters.
The explosions.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, there's not that much that you get from a second Marine chapter that's worth losing what makes your Marine chapter special. So, really, I mean, they technically can in the same way that Death Guard and Thousand Sons can, but in the same way that Blood Angels lose Savage Echoes and they lose the +1 attack, Death Guard lose Contagions. Thousand Sons lose their Thousand Sons nonsense that they do at you. I think it's Cabal points.
He's saying that's not what I meant. Also, Jake, we're talking about CSM and other things because we had some super chats. So we were chatting about said super chats.
Oh, I see what Danny means. He means that, like, if I take Grey Knights, I can't take Preservers and Prescient Brethren, but I can legally take Blood Angels and Dark Angels together.
That was a nerf that wasn't intended for a couple of these things, but yes.
Yeah. It's just a little...
Yes.
It just was a balance change, honestly. Yeah. It's just for the balance of the game. It doesn't make sense in terms of the lore.
At all.
But it's fine.
They basically did that with Sisters and GK and Dark Eldar. They were looking for people not spamming that.
Dark Eldar, no. What are you talking about? Dark Eldar still do it.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying they were doing different cuts.
Yeah. So that was a balance patch on those 3 armies, and now it's a bit out of date because Grey Knights are not rampaging through the meta right now. Sisters, well, they are, but Sisters would get a lot better if they could take multiple.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It is a little weird, but I'm okay with it because you get some weird rules in order to have a balanced game, and that's what I'm looking for.
Yep. Yeah. All of the things. I don't think.
I think if they undid it for Grey Knights, Thousand Sons, and Death Guard, would it break those armies?
Nope.
Death Guard, no. Thousand Sons, no. Grey Knights, it would make them better. But it wouldn't break them. No. Sisters, yes. I don't know about break, but like they don't need help, and they would get a big help out of that.
There we go. Evan Chalice coming back.
Maybe. I
Other
mean, you
things.
would see probably Order of Our Martyred Lady Retributor bricks,
Yeah.
and those things are scary. They're much scarier than Bloody Rose Retributor bricks. So you might see Argent Shroud Retributor bricks, just because they reroll a wound, which is fine, but like then you reroll a 2 when you reroll ones from Fall, and then you reroll and you don't take the hit penalty. That'd be pretty good. But Order of Our Martyred Lady Retributor bricks are scary because they shoot on death for 1 CP, and if you do any damage to them, suddenly they hit on 2s, and it's just like So I personally, I mean, if you wanted to house rule yourself that everything except Sisters gets that benefit, then sure, fine. I don't think it's a big deal. Sisters, I think, don't need it at all. At all.
I like that Brad isn't wearing his list sorting hat. Cannot be trusted anything.
Stefan, Sisters, now the Bloody Rose Specialist thing. Is that Specialist attachment, or is that just a supplement? I think it's just a supplement. So you would still get it.
That one I'd have to go look.
I think it's a supplement. It's not a Specialist attachment.
Right now it doesn't matter because you have to be all the ones, so it doesn't make any difference.
I mean, yeah, if you give up Bloody Rose rules, then it wouldn't be worth it. But I think it's just a supplement so that if you're Bloody Rose, you just get this. And then you could just include Order of Our Martyred Lady, which just gets this. And then you're like, cool, I get the best of both. Which Order of Martyred Lady doesn't outweigh Bloody Rose. And I could be completely wrong about this. It doesn't really matter in the end because you can't do it. But I believe they're both just supplements. And so you can use both if you were legally allowed to.
Jack, are you ready to Queens wave it out of here?
Of course, I'm always ready to Queens Rave it out.
Let's do this, my friend.